In the previous lesson, we have successfully implemented the update functionality for games. Now there is one thing left that we need to do, and that is if you open the console and now try to edit a game, and here we are not changing the file, that is the image associated with the game, and suppose we are just changing the title but not any other thing. Now click on update, and here we are getting an error at the line 159, and it's saying that cannot read property name of null. At the line 159, we are basically getting the data from file, and here in our case we have not uploaded any file. So we need to place this inside the block if the file exists. That means if the user has changed the file, then in that case only we are going to upload the new file. So let's get back to the editor and fix this quickly. Let's go to the line 159. And here we need to place all this inside the condition. And if the file exists, then in that case we are going to set the data. Now there is few things that we need to do. We need to place this first so that we can call this from inside here. Now let's save this and get back. Now let's try to update. And here you can see our game data is updated and no new error message is being printed here. So here we have successfully fixed the bug. Now let's click on edit game again. And here you can see we are not getting the data pre-filled. And the reason here is the mounted method is only going to be executed once. So in our case, we need to set everything from inside the mounted and move to a method which we will trigger when someone click on edit game. Let's get back to the editor and quickly fix this issue. Here we have added a new method, setData, and passed everything from inside the mounted method to setData. And inside the mounted, we are calling this .setData. Now let's save this and go to the top. And here, if someone clicks on edit game, then in that case, we will set the dialog, toggle the dialog state, as well as we will call the setData method. Now let's save this and get back. And now if we click on edit game, no matter how many times we edit, let's edit this thing. Here the data is updated. Click on OK. Now if we click on edit game again, we are still getting the data. However, we are getting the old data. I have set it to V3 last time, but still we are getting V2 because the data is being passed from here, and we need to refresh this data in order to get the updated values. And in order to do this, we need to use event bus. What is event bus? Basically, this one is a child component, and our dashboard, think of it like a parent component. So inside the parent component, we have a child component. And when something occurs in the child component, we want to emit an event. And that event will get some data from the child component and pass to the parent. So let's get back to the editor quickly and see how we can implement the event bus with VueJS. Here, before the alert method, let's add the emit event. And here we have added an emit event called game:updated, and we are passing the data. And this data contains each and every information that we have updated, including the image as well. So let's save this, and now we need to work on our dashboard file. And here we need to add a new method. Here we have added a handler with the custom event name that we are going to emit from the game form. Here. So now this event will have access to the data passed from the game form. Now let's add the method here. And basically this is going to contain the same thing. So we can just copy all this. And paste here. Let's call it doc instead of game. And here, as we have passed the data in form of object, but not in form of Cloud Firestore document, so we can get rid of this data part and access the properties directly. And here, the image we are creating from this, and we are also passing the image for the user. We need to remove data from here as well. And instead of pushing the data, we will use splice so that we can update the data. If we use push, in that case, it is going to create a new record into the array. Inside the splice method, we need to pass the index which we are going to update. And here, if you notice it correctly, then you can see we are already passing the index in case of update. So we should have access to the index which we are passing from here. So this is the purpose of using the index, in order to use it with the splice so that we can update the array item which is updated in the Cloud Firestore. And we are placing 1 here because we are going to pop one item and insert this into that index. Now let's save this, and we need to make sure that we are passing the index inside the data object. Let's save this. And now let's give it a try. But there is one thing that we need to fix before that, and that is we are using await. So here we need to set async. And we also need to get rid of data from this part as well. Now let's save this and give it a try. Let's click on edit game and now set it to v2. Click on update. Data is updated. Click OK. And here you can see we're getting the updated value. However, the image is not displaying. So we need to figure out what's wrong with the image part. And if we check it from here, you can see it's comment out. So we need to figure out why the image is not displaying. Let's go to the game form. And here you can notice that we are passing the image only when the user has changed the file. What if the user has changed the other fields but not the file? So in that case, we should send the old image path. And we can do that. Let's go to the game form. And here you can notice that we are passing the image only when the user has changed the file. What if the user has changed the other fields but not the file? So in that case, we should send the old image path. And we can do that here in the else part. Basically, inside the image, we are passing the file reference. So here in the else part, we will supply the existing image data. Now let's save this and get back to the browser. Now let's try to update again. Data is updated, and here we are getting the updated game title as well as the existing image. So this is the way to pass data from child to parent component, as well as we have handled and fixed some old errors.